Thanksgiving night in Blackthorn Valley was supposed to be warm, tables full, families laughing. But the storm rolling across the mountains turned everything cruel. Rancher Luke Hartley was closing his barn, ready for a lonely dinner, when he saw something small move near the fence. A child, tiny, shivering, covered in snow. She lifted her face and whispered, "Please, help us." Those 3 words froze Luke in place. He rushed forward, scooping the little girl into his arms. Her clothes were soaked, her lips blue. Before he could speak, she pointed weakly toward the old cottonwood tree. "Mama, my brothers, we didn't know where else to go." Luke followed her gaze, and his breath left him completely. A young woman huddled against the trunk, 3 kids clinging to her, all trembling so hard their teeth chattered. Luke dropped to his knees beside them. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" The woman lifted her head. Her eyes were swollen, exhausted, but full of a fierce mother's fear. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "We were trying to reach the church, but we couldn't make it." She tried standing but collapsed instantly. Luke caught her before she hit the ground. "Don't apologize," he said firmly. "You're safe now." He carried her first, then returned for the children, one tucked under each arm, the smallest on his back. The storm screamed around them, snow striking like needles. By the time he pushed through his front door, all 4 kids were sobbing from cold. Luke set them near the fire, wrapping blankets around their tiny shoulders. The woman tried to speak again, but her voice cracked. "Thank you, stranger. My name's Luke," he said, "and this house is yours tonight." She blinked slowly, overwhelmed. "I'm Mara. And these are my babies, Eli, Jonah, Ruth, and little May." Luke's heart twisted. 4 children, all starving, shaking, eyes wide with the kind of fear kids should never know. He placed warm cups of broth in their hands, watching them gulp like every sip mattered. As the fire warmed them, color slowly returned to Mara's face. Luke prepared food, cornbread, roasted chicken, hot potatoes, more than he had cooked for himself in months. When he placed the tray before them, the kids froze. Jonah whispered, "Is this really for us?" Luke nodded. "Eat all you want." The children attacked the meal, tears mixing with relief. Mara didn't touch her plate. She just watched her kids eat with trembling hands. Luke knelt beside her. "You need food too." She shook her head. "They haven't eaten in 2 days. I wanted to save everything for them." Luke's chest tightened. The world had been cruel to many, but to a mother like this, it was unforgivable. He gently pushed the plate toward her. "You deserve to eat too." After dinner, the kids slept huddled together by the fire. Mara sat quietly, staring into the flames, her fingers intertwined nervously. Luke sat across from her. "Where were you headed?" he asked softly. Mara swallowed hard. "Anywhere warm. Anywhere safer than where we came from." Her voice broke. "Their father threw us out tonight, Thanksgiving night." Luke stiffened. "Threw you out?" Mara nodded, tears falling silently. "Said we were mouths he didn't want to feed. Said I was useless. Said the kids were worthless." Luke's jaw clenched. He'd seen cruelty before, but this was pure heartlessness. "He doesn't deserve a family," Luke muttered, "and you deserve better than the hell he gave you." Mara looked up at him, startled by the strength in his voice. "Why are you being so kind?" Luke's throat tightened. He hadn't talked about his past in years, but something about her trembling hands unlocked old pain. "Because I lost someone I loved, and no one helped me. I know what it feels like to have a home turn cold." Mara's gaze softened, grief recognizing grief. The wind howled outside, shaking the windows, but inside the house, a strange warmth grew, quiet, gentle, unfamiliar. Mara pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders. "We'll leave in the morning," she whispered. "You've done enough." Luke shook his head. "Mara, I didn't help you for one night. You and your kids aren't walking back into the storm." She stared at him, confused. "But we're strangers." Luke's voice was steady. "Not anymore." Her breath hitched. For the first time in years, someone had spoken to her like she mattered. Someone who didn't see her as a burden. Someone who didn't blame her for the years of survival carved into her bones. The oldest boy, Eli, stirred in his sleep and whispered, "Mama, we're warm." Mara covered her mouth, tears spilling silently, hearing her child say those words. Something so simple, something so ordinary, broke her completely. Luke reached out, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder, grounding her. "You and your children are safe here, I promise." The house grew quiet. Only the crackling fire and the storm's distant roar filled the room. Mara looked at Luke with a fragile smile she hadn't felt in years. "Thank you," she whispered. Luke didn't answer with words. He simply nodded. Because deep in his chest, something long buried had begun to stir. A warmth he didn't expect. A pull he couldn't explain. Morning sunlight spilled across the cabin floor, warm and golden after the cruel night. Luke brewed coffee while the kids slept in a tangled, peaceful pile of blankets. Mara walked into the kitchen slowly, still weak but steadier than before. When she saw Luke cooking, she froze. "You made breakfast?" Luke smiled gently. "Thanksgiving's not over yet. You didn't get yours." Her eyes filled instantly. Nobody had ever cared enough to notice. They ate quietly, the kids laughing softly as they discovered warm biscuits and fresh butter. Mara kept glancing at Luke, as if still unsure he was real. When Luke asked gently, "What are your plans now?" she looked down. "I don't know. I only planned to survive last night." Her voice cracked. "But I don't want to burden you." Luke leaned forward. "You didn't burden me. You gave this." House life again. Eli followed Luke outside as he tended the horses. "Sir, can I help?" Luke nodded. The boy worked quietly but with surprising strength. At one point Eli whispered, "Mama smiles here. She never smiled there." Luke felt something heavy twist in his chest. Kids shouldn't understand the difference between safety and fear so early. He patted Eli's shoulder. "Then you're staying here until she smiles every day." But peace didn't last long. By afternoon a wagon pulled up the trail. A man stumbled out, drunk, angry, shouting Mara's name. Mara's face drained. "It's him," she whispered, voice trembling. The kids scrambled behind Luke. The man stormed forward. "You took my family!" he roared. Luke stepped between them, calm but blazing inside. "Your family? You threw them into a snowstorm." The man sneered, breathing alcohol. "They're mine. Give them back." Eli shook uncontrollably, clutching Ruth's hand. Mara stood frozen, terror overtaking her. Luke planted his boots firmly. "They're not objects, and they're not going with you." The man lunged for Mara's wrist. Luke caught his arm midair with steel-hard strength. "Touch her again," he growled, "and I'll end this here." The man yanked back, startled by Luke's strength. And something else, fear. He spat curses, threatened to bring the sheriff, then stumbled into his wagon and vanished down the road. Mara collapsed to her knees, sobbing silently. Luke knelt beside her, placing a steady hand on her back. "It's over," he whispered. Though he knew deep inside, it wasn't. But he would make it end that. That night, Luke fortified the doors, checked on the kids, then sat with Mara near the fire. She looked ashamed. "I didn't want you involved in my past." Luke shook his head. "You didn't choose this. You survived it." She stared at him through trembling lashes. "Why do you care so much?" Luke hesitated, then spoke the truth. "Because the day you walked into my life, the house stopped feeling empty." Mara's breath caught. She looked away, afraid of wanting something too good. "I'm broken, Luke," she whispered. "I come with 4 kids, and a past full of scars." Luke leaned closer. "Then let me be the one who helps you carry them." Mara's lips trembled. No one had ever offered her help without wanting something in return. But Luke's eyes held nothing except honesty. The next morning something miraculous happened. The kids woke laughing, truly laughing, for the first time in months. Luke played with them, teaching Jonah how to toss hay, showing Ruth how to feed the chickens. Mara watched from the porch, tears in her eyes. They looked like a family, a real one, a safe one, and for the first time she dared to imagine a life beyond fear. Later, Mara helped Luke chop vegetables in the kitchen. Their hands brushed once, just once, but the warmth shot through both of them. She pulled back, flustered. Luke just smiled softly. "You're allowed to feel safe here," he said. Mara stared at him for a long moment. then whispered, "I haven't felt safe in years." Luke answered quietly, "Then start today." But trouble returned that evening. The children's father came, back, this time with two men. Mara's heart stopped. The kids ran inside, terrified. Luke stood alone on the porch, jaw steel hard. "Last warning," he said. The men laughed. "Move aside." They reached for Mara's arm. Luke moved first, fast, powerful. He blocked them, voice booming like thunder, "You will never touch her or those kids again." Something in Luke's eyes made the men freeze. Not anger, conviction, the kind that comes from loss, from grief, from love he didn't know he had until someone threatened it. The men backed away. The father cursed, humiliated. "Fine, she's your problem now," he spat before storming off. As the wagon disappeared, Mara collapsed against Luke's chest, shaking uncontrollably. Luke wrapped his arms around her carefully, as if she was made of glass. Mara cried into him, months of fear pouring out all at once. "I didn't want trouble," she whispered. "I just wanted my kids safe." Luke rested his chin gently on her head. "You did everything right. You protected them. Now let me protect you." Mara looked up at him, and hope flickered in her eyes for the first time. Thanksgiving ended with the storm clearing and a new dawn breaking. The ranch felt different, warm, full, alive. Mara and the children sat on the porch wrapped in blankets, watching the sunrise. Luke stood beside them, quiet but certain. Mara looked at him, tears shining softly. "Luke, what do we do now?" He smiled, placing his hand over hers. "Now we build a home, together." And for the first time in years, she believed it.